Hey, it's Chloe Demir of Save the Victual. I thought while I was road testing some vintage 80s Locket heat rollers in my hair, I had bought some traditional of these kind of type of rollers that were non-heat, and I did a test on those, and now I'm testing these one. And yes, I need a hair color. I have an appointment for the end of the month, but here we go. So I thought while these are cooling down, doing some time, because it said from 15 to 45 minutes, the longer you keep them in, the better the curls will be. So I'm just going to try and leave them as long as possible. They've probably been on about 20 minutes now. Anywho, so I thought while I was waiting for these to go, we can do a little look playing with some Makeup Geek. That's sad to see another brand go down. Now, I used to be more of, makeup that you can find at a drugstore, that you could find at Sephora. And then I'd slowly gotten into indie brands, starting with Juvia's Place. And I found out about Makeup Geek just before the pandemic. So when she was rebranding just before the pandemic hit, I was able to pick up some of her shadows because she'd been on my list for a little bit. But then when the rebranded kind of brought it home, and then everybody was going on about how great the shadows were. So I did myself a small order. I got this little palette, and then I bought a whack of shades. So the shades that I bought fit in here. They had said online that because these were for, I believe, for the new shadows, that they probably may not properly fit the old round ones, but they had done, but it was kind of like in a weird pattern. So I just used them to house these highlighters. See, aren't they beautiful? And it's from Bitter Lace Beauty, and they fit them perfectly. So I just love this for that. And so these are some of the shadows that I have here. So I just have this other empty palette here, and I have one Lonely Natasha Denona single, and then I have these beautiful shades here from a Makeup Geek. So I thought we could do a little look, get ready with me while I'm waiting for these to dry, and maybe talk about what we think is going on with the makeup world. Was this, Becca has gone down. I think some other small brands of in between have gone down, I know, and Midas, I did a video on that. If I remember, I'll pop it up in there. Midas, a brand that I really, really love. They're now going to be gone. They're just finishing selling up products on their website. It's still, is it maybe 50 and then 15% off? So they may be up to 65% off or something now. So if there are a few good things, like the Genesis palette still available. So if you've been wanting to try them, now's the time. And same thing with Makeup Geek. So I've been on a budget buy, no buy. And I broke it yesterday. I had been looking at, so she had released, I think during the pandemic, she had released a face serum that I was really interested in, like a priming serum. It was supposed to be kind of like the Charlotte Tilbury one. She released eyeliners, which I was interested in, and then just kind of, was waiting to, to see if there's some more coming out, to order some more of the things, or maybe buy her that one of the big palettes with her system. But I just, things happened, and now I'm in a low buy, and I didn't. So now everything was 40% off. So I did go and pick up a couple of the liners that I was looking at. One that was recommended highly from Angelica Nyquist, and then in Plumeria. So then I ordered another tealish one. Then I ordered that serum that I wanted to try. I thought, well, now or never. And then I've never tried any of their highlighters. And then I was just watching somebody else talking about this. They were saying how much they love their highlighter. So I found one that had kind of a bluish tinge that looked really good. So I picked that up. And then I also picked up, I was looking at some of the more really vibrant shadows, and the greens that I wanted were sold out, but there was this beautiful orange, so I picked that up. And shipping wasn't bad. I was like, okay, even with 40% off, let's see what shipping is. And it ended up being $5.99. So of course it's not the fast shipping, it'd be by mail, you know, but probably by regular post, but that is fine by me. So my purchase, which, oh, and then I brought I like these, I like these kind of eyeshadow brushes, and she had one that was a teeny bit thicker than that, so I picked up one of those too. The set was already sold out, so I thought, okay, well, I'll just try one of this, you know, the little smaller brushes that I like, and then I picked up a makeup brush. So the total, which normally would have been, was it $72, came to $42. So yeah, not bad. So yeah, so I thought, again, now or never. So a couple eyeliners, an eyeshadow, a highlighter, and an eyeshadow brush. So yeah, and then, you know, to give her a little bit support in selling off what she has, hopefully, well, Marlena will go. She's so talented, so nice. She works really hard. So I think, you know, whatever she does next, she's going to do absolutely amazing. And so I'm not super worried about her personally, but it's still sad to see a brand that everybody has loved. I've seen so many videos on, yeah, it's just sad to see that happen. So yeah, so within, you know, a short amount of time, another brand that I really like closing down. It's pretty sad. So yeah, so the panini has really taken a hit in a lot of businesses. I've been noticing here too, if we go out for a restaurant or whatever, besides COVID, besides our little political issue we were having here, plus with Ukraine, everything has been going up. Gas prices are crazy high here. We're still having trouble getting, you know, food and stuff across the border. So prices have really skyrocketed. So I think for a lot of people, buying makeup isn't going to be what they are doing. And then if they are, they're buying whoever's, you know, putting new releases out or some basic. So if you've bought the whole basic system from her in eyeshadows, you know, unless you're using a lot of that primer or something, you know, I don't know how often you would be going back to her site at the moment. And yeah, and then I think the same thing, being a smaller brand, it was harder for her to get the materials she needed to do other new releases. So it's a tough time for small indie brands. So okay, so most of the colors I bought when I bought here were shimmers. I did buy a couple matte ones, so I have one because I really do, especially in the beginning, I did a lot using a light shade always for blending out or for setting my primer, and then I got this darker brown shade, and everything else is a bit shimmery. So I think what I am going to do is I'm going to go with what I traditionally do and go with a lighter look. And then this is in the shade Buffed. So that's the perfect name for this one. And then I'm just going to go and find a floofy brush here. And then we are going to go into Buffed and just use that to set our eye primer and have a little bit of color for transition. This isn't really going to be a, you know, full get ready or whatever. Like I said, I'm curling my hair, getting ready. A girl that I know is doing some work on her apartment, and then she's been, you know, trying to organize and clean up some stuff, and then she had these beautiful set of vintage dishes that she is going to pass on to me, which I am so excited about. I'm gonna try and see if I, because she tried selling them, but you know, vintage dishes, I mean, I think it's, you know, a certain market that wants them, and she was trying more in the friend group, so I'm gonna try and see if I can at least send a few dollars her way. I'm gonna go pick that up today. So I thought, well then, let's just do a simple look, because we will also be wearing a mask. So we're kind of doing twofold. We're gonna be playing with some Makeup Geek, and I'm testing out these curlers. So when I get the other makeup, I'm definitely gonna give it, maybe do another video. She's Makeup Geek will be open till the end of April. They did say on the website, because of the sale, so they're having a lot of traffic, that it may take a little while to get here. So I'm hoping it does, you know, the products do get here hopefully before they close. That would be great. And then I can do a video. with them. I don't know how cohesive the colors I bought. I think that I didn't buy an eyeliner that went with the orange or anything, but there's something that we can definitely do or talk about, or I could mix it into some, you know, other makeup things that I'm trying. So here we've got a nice base down, just so like I said, we've set the color, we've got the base, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the other matte shade that I have, which is the darker brown for the outer corner. And then this one is called, what's it called? Mars. Yeah, I can read really well, can't I? This is Makeup Geek, isn't it? Please be kind, rewind. I managed to get one single Noctex shadow mixed in with my Makeup Geek. Alrighty, so I just had one matte shade. So I think then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do darker on the outside. So I'm going to change it up and I'm going to take the shimmery dark green, and this one is in the color Venom. So we're going to do that. So we had buffed on the lid, and now we're going to do Venom on the outer edge. And as this is a shimmer, I'm going to try, it's been a while since I used these. Because last year I went nuts with the shopping, hence the no buy, low buy. So I remember these being so good. I mean, that matte was beautiful and went in the crease beautifully. Yes, look how, oh, beautiful, 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 beautiful. So I'm just gonna pull it up a little bit, but it's not gonna be quite a wing because I'm going to use some black liner today. But I just thought I'm going to put this for the first half. We'll use Venom, and then I've got a few other. I mostly bought, it looks like gold, greens. Yeah, so if I just quickly show you the shadow here, it seems to be mostly kind of golds, greens, a pop of blue, and then some lighter shimmery shades. So I guess that's what well, I mean, again, too, I had bought these on a sale because I think the matrix system may even have been sold out at the time too, and then I wasn't quite ready to commit to that much money. So I thought, okay, well, let's try her formula with the old round pans, and I really like them. So I kind of regret now that I didn't, like when the elixir came out, that I didn't go to an order and pick that up, and some of the eyeliners then, but oh, and then I made a wing. I tell you, I autopilot. So let's do a wing on that side, and then we'll just clean it up with the sponge in a second. That's the good thing about doing your eyeshadow before you do your base. If you fuck up, you can easily clean that up. All right, so maybe it's gonna be slightly winged out, but only up to my eyebrow, like so. All right, back to regular scheduled programming. Go back to this. So anyways, this Venom color is really beautiful. It's going on really lovely. Do I have any fallout? Nope, I don't. Well, here I got a little bit smudged because of the sponge, but no fallout. So this is really pretty. So yeah, so back at it. So I guess, you know, if you're a small brand and you're fighting against the big dogs to get, I guess, time in the labs, time to get stuff manufactured, getting supplies, I guess it's gotta be kind of hard. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know how popular Makeup Geek is, but compared to other brands, I don't know how it's stacked up to, you know, size and sales before the pandemic, that if it was something that mixed with the big dogs, or if it was definitely more maybe more than a Lois Cosmetics type situation, but not quite a, I don't know, Juvia's Place. The amount of sales, I don't know. So I don't know how hard it was for her to maybe compete in that way. But she was saying that in her video that that Makeup Geek wasn't her like final stop, that she had other plans. So I'm really quite excited to see what she's got coming out. And yeah, and hopefully we don't lose any more brands, because that would be sad. I mean, there are some, we've talked about this in the Midas video as well, that there are a few other brands that, you know, that this could happen to as well, but we will see. So anyways, that's Venom. Oh, I'm almost out of battery again, goodness. All right, and then we're gonna go, so I think we're gonna go with a brighter green. So I do have this one that's called Limelight, which is beautiful. And then I also have one that's kind of a goldy green, and this one's called Pixie Dust. So that's really pretty. So again, Limelight, Pixie Dust. And then if I did want to go slightly more muted and mossy, this one is called, what is this one called? Leafing So Soon. I think it's one of the reasons why I got this shade. A, because it's green, and B, because I thought the color was hilarious. So, but I'm thinking Limelight is really calling to me, so why don't we do that? So let's dig into some Limelight. I think the other thing too is, like, I like single shadows, and I know hers were always affordable. I remember there was a color that was a lot like Buffed, maybe I want to say a shade and a half lighter, that I used to always love from Urban Decay. And I used to always buy that as a single, and ooh, look at that. But they're Canadian, they were like $26 for one shade. Okay, granted it wasn't a little compact, but still, that's a lot of money for one shade that I used to use just for buffing out. And the reason why I bought the, bought it as a single, because it always did, when it did back in the day, used Urban Decay, the lightest shade that was in their palette was always the one that I used up first, because I always used it as a blending color. So to be able to pay, you know, $6 US or $8 US for a single is way better than even with the exchange, than the $26 that I would pay Canadian for an eyeshadow. So this is really, really pretty. But I know so many people, I mean, the big trend has been palettes, palettes, palettes. So even if you, I guess if you fill you know, a Z palette with a beautiful color story and it's full, maybe you might reach for it some more. But when you're just having, you know, a tray of some colors, how often do a lot of people reach for it? Like, you know, they're using the more recent palette. And then, not to say that that's the #1 thing either. There's a lot of brands that release some pretty tragic palettes as well. And you're wondering why they're in business, but it just seems the trend the last few years definitely has been palettes, 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 palettes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit, I am going to take a little bit of that Leafing You So Soon, so that lighter green, I think. And I'm going to kind of put that in the middle between the two shimmers there. Just to like help blend the two shimmers together. That's a nice thing about shimmers. They definitely go better. They blend easier together than sometimes mattes do. So there we go. I think that's really, really pretty. These are pretty easy to blend. Didn't take very long here. I'm just going to use a little bit of that darker shade again, Venom. I'm going to go back out. Oh, that wasn't a good look. Venom. And then we're going to go a little bit more in the outer corner. There we go. So for the bottom, I think what I'm going to do, because it's such a light shade, so you don't often put shimmers on the bottom, but I think I'm going to use that for my bottom lash line. Yeah, I think that looks good. And then I think for the inner corner, I'm going to, this shade looks really nice. This is the shade Voltage. So I think I'm going to use that for the inner corner. It's like a pale yellowy gold. Like super pale, I like that. So that should make a good inner corner. There we go. And you know what? Maybe we can put a little bit on the brow bone as well. for a little highlight there. There we go. So there we go, it's just a simple look using some of my Makeup Geek shadows. So I'm just gonna go and finish up and then we can come back for final thoughts. So I will see you in a second. Hey, and we're back. Here is the final look. Just a little bit of mascara, a little bit of black eyeliner, of course my base. And then I used a teeny bit of, what is this, Nostalgic as highlighter. I think that worked really good, kind of on top of my blush a little bit, a bit highlighter. So there we go. And the curlers didn't do too bad. I did just under an hour, or about an hour, somewhere in there. So I had done ones that weren't heated and I slept overnight, and I got almost the same amount of curl to do like a traditional vintage kind of look. But that's pretty good for 45 minutes. I wonder if I could sleep in them with heat. Might try that out too. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me. Just a couple teeny weeny final thoughts on playing with my Makeup Geek shadows. They're beautiful. I love them. I'm really sad that this brand will no longer be available. I don't think I said anything that hasn't been already said regarding the situation, but again, she's going to do fantastic in whatever she does. She's an amazing person, one of the OG influencers on YouTube. I think one of the first, if not the first influencers to do her own brand, and did it majorly well. Just happened to be that the last 3 years have kicked us all in the butt, and some other people and businesses a lot more. But again, I'm so glad that I do have the products that I have. I'm glad that I did another little order for a little bit of support and for a few more things for me to have my collection to play with. And if I was going to break my budget on something, I think that's a pretty good cause. So if you like this video, give us a like, comment, and subscribe, or maybe even hit that notification bell. If not, that is okay. We can still discuss makeup brands, the demise, or the success of them. And I hope you are doing well. You are making good choices, is in the words of one of my favorite YouTubers. And I hope you have a fantastic day, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. Alrighty, that's it.